Oh hey, I was just, admiring the view. It's a beautiful day we have today. The kind of day that really gets me thinking about Islam psychology. Speaking of Islam psychology, would you like to hear something about it? Let me tell you a little bit about Islam psychology. First of all, the teachers sometimes sound very similar to Christianity, so people can get them mixed up. However, they're actually very distinct from each other. First of all, Islam stands for complete submission and obedience to Allah, their God, which they believe brings peace. So obedience and submission brings peace to them. Second, Muslims believe that we were not created in the image of God like we Christians do. We believe that He made us in His image. However, they believed that although He did breathe man His spirit, He only gave us knowledge, will, and power of action. And if we use these three things to follow God's law strictly, then we have nothing to fear in the past, the present, and the future. We are in essence slaves of God. We are not created in His image. We are His slaves, pretty much, is what they believe. Muslims believe that humanity's original religion is Islam. And so every person is a Muslim at birth, pretty much. We are then converted by our parents. So pretty much everyone who's a Christian, Muslims believe were originally Muslims and then were converted by their parents into Islam. They also believe that every person is born free from sin. Whatever happens to man after birth is a result of external influences or intruding factors. They believe that humans have free will, as without it, we would be defeating God's purpose. They believe that sin is not hereditary like we do, but that each individual is responsible for their own sin. While Christians believe that man's fall, pretty much Adam and Eve eating the forbidden fruit and causing everyone to sin, is a fundamental turning point in our relationship with God. Muslims believe that it was only a single slip on Adam and Eve's part, so they don't believe it affected us in our lives today. They believe it was just Adam and Eve's fault, and after Adam and Eve repented, then they were completely forgiven and it had no effect on us today. We believe that because of Adam and Eve's sin, we sin, pretty much. They don't believe that. They believe their sin was their sin and our sin is our sin. Just put the passcode in real quick. Finally, man is not born a sinner and there is no general sinfulness of man. So man is born perfect and then we screw up. That's what they believe. Thank you.
Why, hello there. I'm going to teach you about the second part of Islamic salvation. Unlike Christians, they do not believe that Jesus died on the cross, but they believe that Jesus was a prophet of God. They believe that everyone must bear their own burdens and are responsible for their own actions. In order to accomplish their salvation, they believe that they must have good nature and must look to themselves and the abilities that God has given them to achieve their salvation, and to obtain their salvation with faith and action. So they are required to do as many good deeds as possible. When they are finally judged, when they're about to die, each person are determined if they're going to go to hell or heaven. It's determined by how many good deeds they've done. So if it's kind of like a weighting system. If it's heavy, that means they have salvation, and if it's light, that means they're going to hell. For forgiveness, the Muslims must counterbalance their good deeds with the bad. So those who do good are promised forgiveness and a great reward from Allah. But Muslims deny that Jesus is God incarnate and do not believe that Jesus died on the cross as a sacrifice for our sins. But they also do not believe that he was resurrected on the third day. However, most Muslims do believe that Jesus was not crucified at all. So it's not like Christianity. And that concludes our history on Islam psychology.